Welcome to Friday night, Saturday night is right for Frieghts. We are going to be running some trains here tonight. It's been a while since we've had a live video, so thought I would do one today. You can see my face and then trains running in the background. We'll get it switched over here pretty soon so that you can see what you're really interested in, which is the trains. I have 4 of them running right now. Hopefully they'll just keep running and I won't have to deal with them too much. Want to do a couple of things tonight. One is kind of give you an idea where things stand, and then what's going to be happening in the days and weeks to come. I have an operating session coming up July 23rd, and then another one in late August. So I want to be prepared for those. So kind of show you what some of the things I've been doing. Of course, the most recent thing is the backdrops, which you can see here. Some additional things going to be doing with that. And then also wanted to give you an idea of what I'm going to be working on in the weeks to come. So I think the 23rd is about 4 weeks away, so don't have too much time for that one. But I think I can get a few things done, some things finished up and some more things worked on. And then also for the late August one, hopefully we'll get even more done by that time. So gonna go over that for a little bit. I actually did not get much done this last week because I was in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, tourist town, USA. I don't have any more passenger cars yet, but I do plan on getting some more. I'll kind of go over that today if I get a chance. My plans for excursion trains. I want to eventually have 3 full excursion trains. So maybe be able to share some of that today also. But anyway, I was in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, tourist town, USA. Dollywood is there, but I was actually there to watch my grandson, Tommy, play some baseball. So I spent the whole week watching 12 and under boys playing baseball. They won the Bronze Division Championship, so I was very proud of them for that. And Tommy was outstanding. He's really doing extremely well. So I was very proud of him. And he also displayed some great character, which I was really thrilled about too. And we also got a chance to spend some time with my granddaughter, Audrey, while we were down there as well. All right, so I didn't get a whole lot done this week, but I am still going to have an update tomorrow because there was a few things that I did get done. One has to do with this here, a little bit of a preview there. An hour from Pigeon Forge. Do you get there very often? One of the things I'm going to work on yet is some more work on the backgrounds. I am going to try to have the E9 diesels, and I might possibly put a Heritage SD70 behind the steam locomotives, but they did run them without the diesel locomotives, so a lot of that's going to depend on how my overall locomotive power stands, if I can spare them. Eventually I probably will have some of the diesels behind the excursion trains. I am, speaking of excursion trains, before I get to the backdrops, I am going to try and get an excursion train with E9s, an ABA set for that, and then also I'd like to get a big boy eventually. Could be a year or 2 or more. Depends on how things go before I get all that. As I mentioned before in previous videos, I'm not a wealthy person. I'm a retired educator and a parochial school educator at that. So it's not like I have a huge budget, but luckily I did have a pretty sizable N scale collection that I sold to pay for a lot of this. And then of course the YouTube channel helps out a lot also. Let's see where this guys are going. Let's see the rest of the backdrops. But anyway, I'm going to try to have the excursion trains. I really like this here. That looks pretty good, if I must say so. If I do say so myself. Here's some more. I was really kind of pleased the way all the colors blended in pretty nicely. Yes, twice a year. I've been there. I've been to Gatlinburg Pigeon Forge 4 times. Now this is the last time. I didn't think I'd ever go back again, but the Cal Ripken experience is there, and it's a pretty cool tournament for the boys. So it was a lot of fun. But I'm not really into those big touristy places, and I'm not a big Dolly Parton fan, although I have nothing against her. This looks pretty cool too. Here. So anyway, as far as the backdrops go, the Evanston sub does exist out in Utah and Wyoming. I was just out there in June. It's a beautiful subdivision. I'm going to be working on some of the touch-ups for the backdrop. Still have some white showing at different places. I'm not sure when I'm going to get to the airbrushing, where there's just specks and scrapings on the top of the backdrop. I'm going to use the airbrush and see if I can airbrush some clouds in there. It's really bad right here. I need to put in some clouds there, hopefully, to cover that up. A little blending in here and there, a little bit there. Yeah, I think the Evanston sub does about 40 to 50 cars a day. So, pretty busy. There's a stack train. Now one thing, if you're a follower of the channel and of the layout, one thing I did recently is I mixed up all the engines. Sometimes it helps not to always have the same locomotives pulling the same trains. So I mixed them all up. John, I don't know if the DD35 is still running. From what I could tell, it's not. I'm not sure when the last time it was that it ran. You can see both levels. Let's watch it knock down this light signals. Perfect. All right, this looks pretty good here. Not a whole lot to do on there. Some touch up on the backdrops. Here I need a lot of touch up here. So I need to fix all that up yet. Gonna do a little bit of blending, better blending here. Somebody suggested it. I was kind of snippy with them. I apologize for that, but it does need a little bit of blending right there. I just put some shrubs in there. May take a while until I get the right color. This looks really good through here, I think. And then again, here's some more touch up here. So that's one of the things I definitely want to get done before I have my next operating session. Kind of get that finished up again. And then another thing I want to do before the next operating session is do the ballasting here. So I want to put the ballast all in this area here. This is the UTLX repair facility. Be cool if I could get a building in here also. Somebody asked, will this look like the rest of the layout? Actually, this is going to look very different once I get going on putting in buildings. There'll be, it won't be all this grass and shrubs. There'll be a lot of gravel, dirt roads, a lot of, but definitely will look out differently. The scale trains water tender, I have not looked at that yet. It is definitely still squeaking, and it's got a coupler that's off, is not at the right height too. So For a rivet counter, not that impressed with it so far, but I'm sure shouldn't take too much to get it fixed. I might just send it back and have them give me a new one. I'm sure the Lombard Hobbies would help me with that, or I might just send it straight back to Scale Athearns. I'm gonna put the fascia on this wood here too. All right, so don't worry about the questions. That's what the live things are for. And it's hard for me to see all the questions when I'm talking and stuff. So anyway, then when I get, I think I'm gonna try and do some static grass too on the scenery. Not sure if I'll get all of it done. But then I'm gonna try to work on this whole room here. Okay. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the upper level first. And for this part here, I'll make sure I have to, actually for the whole part, I'll have to cover the lower level. But that's just going to take some painting of the plywood and some ground foam and vegetation and ballast. So I'm going to do the entire upper level and this part here. And then when I get the entire upper level done, then I'm going to do the same thing for the lower level. And it's going to be a lot of the same stuff. This is a lot of plywood here for Evanston. So it'll be a lot of painting the plywood, putting basic ground foam and vegetation down, maybe some static grass. I'm not sure if I'll get it all ballasted. That's a possibility, but ballasting the yard is going to take a lot of time and effort. But then I also want to get some backdrops in here. I took some really cool pictures of the Evanston yard area, and I'm going to put those all in here. And in fact, I'm going to cover up this here, which is what we've been using for operators to watch the trains go up. Oh, I gotta have a little bit of a coupler issue here. I'm glad I caught it. Let's see if I can, this engines came uncoupled. So I'm gonna go back. The throttles are way in the other room. So let's see if I can back this thing up and recouple. Going the wrong way. And watch that one go up. Almost there. There we go. So this is a newer locomotive that I have, and as I said, I switched them around. So if you notice, I need to put KD couplers on it. Haven't yet. It's with a new locomotive, so uncoupling issue. But luckily I caught it in time. I won't have this window for that much longer. I'm standing in the middle of the Helix, by the way. As far as buildings go, that's another thing I would really like to get done. I'd like to get a building done at UTLX, and then maybe the engine facilities, and then also the fueling station in Evanston. So it would be cool to get some buildings done as well. Here's a dispatcher's panel, if you haven't seen it yet. So anyway, this window is going to be no more, or at least a lot smaller. So it's going to be in tomorrow's update, but I got a little camera here that we're going to see if we can use to watch the trains come up to Helix. We'll kind of test it out and see if it works. But stay tuned for that tomorrow on the update. All right, let's see if I get out of the Helix. Yeah, so this window here, I'm going to have a backdrop here, so we won't be able to see in here. And I might leave a small window, maybe put like an opening here, possibly. I don't know. I like to just cover it up completely. If we can get the camera in there to work for watching, we'll see if that works. We'll watch and see if this tray makes it all the way up to the top. Hey, those of you who like Helixes, this is your time to enjoy a train going up and two stack trains, a stack train going up and a stack train coming down. Both of them have 3 locomotives in the front and a mid-train helper. I think one has a end of train, not really a helper, I should say DPU, distributed power unit. You see that one's going down there. All right, it should be coming up here pretty soon. These cameras I'm doing too, I might possibly be able to live stream an op session and kind of toying with some ideas. Oh, here it comes. All right, it's to the top of the Helix. Has not come uncoupled again. Thank goodness. So this is an Athearn SD90, I think. I'll take that back. That's an SD60. And ES44 Gevo. And that's an SD60. So 2 SD60s and a Gevo in there for a long stack train. Going to be doing some reviews here pretty soon on the Aurora miniatures containers. They put out some 40-foot containers that are just beautiful. Here we go. There's the one coming down on the lower level. If I don't answer your question, don't be afraid to ask it a second time. Somebody just asked a question and it disappeared on me. Here's the mid-train helper. This is an SD70 ACE. It's Walther's main line. I put it as a mid-train helper because I'm kind of hiding it. It doesn't have that great a detail. Runs okay. It's kind of cool when you have 3 trains or 4 trains in one area. What's the point of Cork roadbed? Well, a couple of things. One, it's supposed to reduce the amount of noise, which is not a huge thing to me, but it is something. But to me, what's really important about the Cork roadbed is it elevates the track above grade. You don't want to have track, this is out of focus here, you don't want to have track right on the ground, especially if you're modeling a modern mainline like I am. So the Union Pacific is a class 1 modern mainline, and so Athearn's mainline locals are not worth the buy, I would say. I had 2 of them, sent one back. Anyway, the Cork roadbed, it elevates the track, much like the prototype does. So here you can see I have the the switching lead right on the ground. So that's a part of the secondary track and is part of the yard. So that just goes right on the ground. But the main line is much more built up, has more ballast, more gravel, more fill, whatever it is. They do more work to ensure that it has proper drainage and everything. So in the UP through Evanston sub, if you notice here, I have some even higher profile cork roadbed from this point on. And I even, if you look at this here, I added a little bit underneath the cork roadbed. So this is elevated more than just regular, because this is the Union Pacific Class 1 modern mainline. So I wanted to make sure it looked like it. And then the secondary track, I just have the regular. So yes, it elevates the track above the plywood. All right, now somebody asked when do I expect to have this done? Probably, as far as everything with basic scenery, like to this point here where I have the fascia painted, basic scenery, and ballasted, I would say probably in another year or two, maybe 2 years, because I got a lot here to do. But I don't think, since most of Evanston here is going to be pretty easy, because it's just painting the plywood and adding the vegetation and then ballasting. But then when I get to this part over here again, then we're going to need to go back with a lot of scenery here, plaster, like I've been doing. The upper level is going to be pretty basic still, although I am going to have some mountains over there at Aspen Tunnels. But most of the upper level is pretty basic. But there's going to be mountains here, the Taggart Tunnels through here, a river. The Weber River is going to come through here. More mountains, Devil's Slide geological formation, Interstate 84. More scenery. So there's still quite a bit to do. So I have all of this here yet. So it's going to take a couple years. And then there's going to be more stuff to do after that. I mean, basically continuing to add. Oh, this is cool. Wyoming is pretty basic, you're right, but I still need to do some static grass and stuff. But you're right, not a lot of buildings and roads compared to what I had with the Geneva subdivision. So that will save some time. I started this about a year and a half ago when I was 65. And the main idea was that I would get most of it done in 5 years. So that by the time I'm 70, any of the hard stuff that might take any serious physical labor, I'd have it done by 70, and then from 70 on, I can just enjoy it until I die, and just keep adding details and improving it here and there, buying more locomotives and rolling stock. But I'm really happy with the way these backdrops turned out. I did finally get some railings in. So this is another thing I want to get done. I have some railings for this curvable bridge, so I want to get this finalized with ballast, get it weathered a little bit. So I'll get that finalized before the operating session. I don't know if I'll get all this done, but I'm going to try. Someone asked if the Walthers main line was worth it. I would say Walther's mainline overall is worth the money. I know I like the Athearn Ready to Run. Those I think are worth it. I modeled the Geneva sub in N scale. So if you look at my channel prior to 2021, there's tons of videos on my Geneva sub. You might want to take a look at that. But anyway, Walther's mainline, from what they told me at Lombard Hobbies, is that they've had some issues with the Walther's mainline SD70 ACE. So it's going to be hit or miss with those units. I bought two. One I sent back. The other one's doing fine. But for what they say, the rest of the Walther's mainline do great. So it's not a problem. And like I said, I like the Athearn. They're Ready to Run. I also like the Athearn Genesis. Even though they cost more, I definitely like the way they run and how they look. Here's where one end of the staging yard is. Here's another camera. Thinking about having my op sessions live streamed with a video, kind of like a virtual railroad. Have you seen them where they have cameras that can go back and forth? Maybe have 2 or 3 cameras and have them panning back and forth, following trains and stuff. So let me know if you would be interested in something like that in the comments, if you would, please. So I was thinking about having this one here. Here's a camera. I was going to put one down at that end of the layout. And then I have the one on the Helix. Might add a 4th one and have like a split screen with 4 cameras and have somebody operate them and zoom in on different trains and stuff. So in the comments, if you would, let me know if that's something you would sit down and watch for, however, op sessions are 3 hours long. We probably would run it for maybe an hour or 2. So let me know if you think you would be willing to sit there for a long time and watch an op session. Yeah, these backdrops do look pretty good. So what kind of, somebody said something about they're getting a Scale Trains UP engine at the end of the month. Which one are you getting? The cameras are Zoomy, let's see, yeah, Zoomy Mall. They were like 25 bucks. And they have 360 panning and zooming and everything. That looks good there with that, even though I do need to blend it in a little bit better. I apologize for being snippy with a guy who commented about that. Sometimes I think I'm so great I don't like to hear things negative. The GEC 45H. So is that okay. I'm waiting for the AC 4400s from the Scale Trains. I don't think they're coming in until 1st of August. All right, any last questions? I think I'm going to wrap this up here. It's been almost a half hour of running trains. Other than that one uncoupling, they've done pretty well. Looks like we have another train coming up. Coal train going down. All right, tomorrow's going to be an update on a few things, and then I do have a review of some Aurora Miniatures containers and a couple boxcars. So we'll have the update tomorrow, and then the review will be sometime next week. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Have a great week. Great Sunday tomorrow. Take care, everybody.